In late May, North Korea gathered to show off a symbol of its naval ambition, a new 5,000-ton warship that the state portrayed as a leap forward, a vessel meant to carry missiles and project power beyond the peninsula. Kim Jong Un himself attended the launch ceremonies, standing in the heat of the day, while shipyard cranes groaned and workers moved into position. The crowd expected that the ship would meet the water in public, televisions proving that the regime's military engineering had produced a modern destroyer. Instead, the ship did not settle elegantly into the sea. It slipped, tipped, and tidled hard to one side. Where the audience had hoped for triumph, they witnessed embarrassment. Satellite pictures taken in the days afterward showed the vessel lying on its starboard side at the Chongjin shipyard, its hull draped in blue tarpaulins and tied down with cables, as men and machines scrambled to save face and salvage the hull. International news agencies later published those images and reported Kim's furious reactions and public rebuke of the shipyard engineers, calling the incident a criminal act of carelessness that could not be tolerated. For nearly 2 weeks, satellite imagery captured the ship partially submerged, then gradually moved the ship to a right, a little using heavy cranes, barges, and cables in order to make it float steadily again. By early June, clearer satellite photos made available through imagery firms showed the destroyer essentially upright again, still awkwardly positioned with its bow on the slipway and its stern in the water. The scars of a launch full of errors clearly visible. News organizations that specialize in open-source satellite analysis published close-up photos and commentary. The ship had been moved, patched, and tarped, heavy equipment clustered around it, and the disgrace of a rushed repair was unforgivable. Associated Press and satellite imagery providers documented that phase, showing the effort to right the vessel and lift it into a position where repair might begin. Inside North Korea, the response was immediate and theatrical. The scale of the mishap could not be hidden, so the state media and official outlets acknowledged the incident to the public, reported Kim Jong Un's anger, and demanded accountability. Officials at the shipyard were blamed publicly. Peoples and officials involved in making and passing the ship were reported to be arrested in the following days. The tone from Pyongyang made it clear that the problem was not only technical, but political. A failed launch of a flagship warship was a blow to the state's prestige. Foreign analysts pointed out the mistakes, which were building and launching large modern warships requires industrial depth, dry dock infrastructure, long testing cycles, and North Korea's accelerated timetable had increased the risk of error. Several news outlets documented the subsequent orders for rapid repair, noting the political pressure to make the ship appear seaworthy once more, resulting in an architectural disaster for the country. Amid this clear, documented timeline of accident and salvage, another story began to circulate online. Short videos and social media posts claimed that the vessel had not been the victim of an unnecessary hurried launch, but had been struck and destroyed by Ukrainian forces, by a so-called $2 million AI strike that leveled a $1 billion warship. These clips used dramatic language or reused launch footage and presented the story as a stunning example of long-range, asymmetric warfare. These false posts, full for rumors, spread quickly across social platforms and video channels, and several creators framed the narrative as a geopolitical shock. I searched widely for verification of this dramatic claim and could not find its validity from mainstream media or any reputable outlets. The only sources for the Ukraine destroyed it version appear to be viral social posts and a handful of YouTube videos repeating the same narrative without independent evidence. Because these are extraordinary claims involving cross-regional strikes and direct military action, they require extraordinary proof, and such proof has not been published by reliable news agencies or confirmed by verifiable satellite analysis. The real story with valid proofs is that a newly built North Korean destroyer experienced a catastrophic mishap at its launch ceremony in Chongjin, leaving the warship heavily and partially submerged beside the slipway. Satellite images from multiple commercial providers captured the scene, showing the vessel on its side, covered in tarps, and later refloated and moved into a repair posture. North Korean state media acknowledged the accident and publicized Kim Jong Un's fury. International analysts raised questions about the ship's future seaworthiness. In practical terms, the aftermath has been a flurry of repair activity and speculation. Satellite imagery published in early June showed the hull lifted upright and moved into a dry dock posture in preparation for repair. When observers asked for the vessel's critical systems, such as electronics, missile tubes, and engines, had been irreparably damaged by seawater, analysts suggested foreign assistance, perhaps from Russia or China, might be necessary if the hull needed major structural work or replacement parts. Inside North Korea, the accident served as a political event to punish technical and managerial failures, and to reinforce the message that grand projects must not expose the state to humiliation. In the end, the scene that remains true and factual is less cinematic than some of the online claims, but a new North Korean destroyer, built and launched with pride and speed, slipped during its debut and required an awkward, highly visible salvage. The episode laid bare the limits of ambition when industry and infrastructure are pushed to produce advanced hardware rapidly, and it provided a vivid, photographable moment that the world could see from space. If you have heard about the fake news of the ship being struck by Ukrainian drones, comment below your reaction.